Welcome back to part two of Following On as we talk about the West Indies' performance in the third Test match against Australia at Sabina Park, or should we be talking about Australia's performance? Unfortunately, the headlines made for the wrong reasons, with the home side being bowled out for just 27, the second lowest Test score in the history of the game. We forget, of course, in times like this, just how well Alzari and Shamar Joseph bowled. Shared 9 wickets, bowled Australia out for 126. But we're joined by an old friend of the show in mourning once again, I'm afraid, after so many false starts and, so many. West Indies cricket is back. It's Machel St Patrick Hewitt from the Caribbean Cricket Podcast to reflect on what I suppose everybody is calling a new low, Mash. Bowled out for 27. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say to you, really. So I'll just let you talk.
Thank you, Manners. Good to be back. I genuinely don't know where to start on this one. I think, in truth, I'm still trying to get my head around it and still trying to process what it means in the wider schemes of West Indies cricket law and the current iteration of the side in the 21st century. Last night, somebody sent me a message, and this will be close to home for Harmison, Harmy, sorry, in that they said to me, when West Indies got bowled out for 47 against England in 2004, that was worse than the 27 yesterday. And I said, oh, why is that? And they said, because the side that England bowled out for 47 was better than this. It had Gale in, it had Lara in, Chanderpaul was in there, Sarwan was in there. And so their argument was that side could bat. So England, and then obviously Harmy took 7 for 12, I think it was. So England destroying West Indies for 47, they felt was a bigger low. Whereas this side with the 27 against an all-time Australian bowling attack with the pink ball, because there's a bit of an acknowledgement in West Indies cricket that we can't bat, or there are serious struggles with being able to bat in any conditions where the ball is moving a lot. And I don't know if that's people attempting to cope with the 27. I don't know if that's where it is, but I tell that story to almost say that it really kind of paints in stark light how bad the batting is, and the view of the batting, and almost the belief that, well, what else can we do? And I guess to put it in context, Australia got bowled out regularly through this series for 250 generally. So, so they got a few 270s in there or something like that, but they got bowled out for sub 250. West Indies bowled well in this series. They took 60 Australian wickets. The West Indian bowling attack is good. And I guess the context and the argument would be, if Australia struggled in this series, bear in mind nobody scored a century in this series, right? If Australia struggled, it stands to reason that West Indies would struggle even more, if that makes sense. That last innings, Australia made, I think, 115 in their second innings in Jamaica. If they made 115, I had predicted that West Indies wouldn't get much more beyond 50. I didn't think it'd be 27 though. So there is some kind of context within it all.
Match, I get what you're saying. I mean, the side that we beat and we bowled out, it was a better side. It's had some great West Indian players in two, I can say, in Shiv and Brian, but it was a one-off. I mean, that side got bowled out, cheaply. It was a little bit of a one-off. This side, and you can put up with it, if you're going through transition. But how do you sort of assess where this is with the West Indies state? Because I look at this and think, well, I'll put up with the fact that we have a few low scores. If there's a little light at the end of the tunnel, and in 6 months would be better, 18 months would be better, would be much better for playing against Stark Cummins, Hazelwood, Boland, and Lyon. Or is this 27 all out and think this could be the norm for quite a while?
It's a good question. I mean, what was it? A year and a half ago, West Indies went to Australia and won. Now, I've always seen that victory at the Gabba as almost like an aberration. Like any sports team can have a good time, a good day, in that sense, a good test match. Since that win at the Gabba, They've gone to England and lost 3-0. They've lost at home to South Africa. They've drawn at home to Bangladesh. And then they started this year drawing in Pakistan on dreadful pitches that ragged from ball one, right? And I think to kind of focus in on your point there, Harmy, the one constant for me through those stretches of defeats in England, at home South Africa, even losing to Bangladesh at home, is that the batting just hasn't shown up. In the last World Test Championship cycle between 2023 and 2025, West Indies had the worst record for centuries. I think we only scored 2 in the whole cycle, in that two-year cycle. Already this now in 2025 we've got none. Where we go to India next, we're unlikely to do anything in India. Then we go to New Zealand, we're unlikely to do anything in New Zealand. So when you're saying it's unlikely to get, but it's not. And I don't know where you and Manners stand on it, but this will again raise those serious question marks about should there be tiered international cricket. And we can't get away from the question. I know that there's tradition and West Indies should be playing the likes of Australia, but when the disparity is so huge, it again brings into sharp focus, do West Indies gain more by playing Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Ireland, Afghanistan, Bangladesh? Do they gain more from competitive series against them versus these kind of huge gaps in quality against Australia?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And I'll bring Manners into this because Manners is, as much as I've played a lot of international cricket and commentated on it, I mean, Manners, you've commentated on a huge amount of cricket across all 4 corners of the world. We're commentating on a completely different sport, aren't we? England versus India compared to where the West Indies are. We talk about tiers and we talk about everything that goes, but you have to think that the tiered system, as much as I don't like it, we've just seen South Africa win the World Test Championship and they've hardly played any cricket. We've beaten New Zealand and you see the standard of their cricket and they're getting better. Even Zimbabwe are looking to play more and more Test cricket. Where's your take on this, man? Because you've been across the spectrum, from South Africa, covering with England and everything that goes with it. Is it inevitable that we have to have Test match tiers in cricket because of the way possibly the West Indies look at red ball stuff?
It's death row. If you put countries like the West or regions like the West Indies into Division 2, they'll never take the step back up to Division 1. You have to play against the best. And if that means bruising embarrassing defeats, then at least you know in real time, in real life, what you have to do and where you need to be. I mean, I think that at least the West Indies are taking wickets. I know there have been some dodgy pitches, and I mean, it would be worse if they were conceding 600 and not taking wickets, and not scoring runs. But I do think that it's if you create a Division 2, that's what it will stay as. There'll be no way back, and I don't think that Test cricket certainly will be sustainable in regions like the West Indies. So just before we let you go, Mash, I don't know Dr. Kishore Shallow, the Cricket West Indies president, but he's just called an emergency review committee, I think comprising Sir Clive Lloyd, Sir Viv Richards and Brian Lara. There may be others on it. But this does feel like there's been lots of these. I mean, they've been going on for 20 years, but this does feel like the last roll of the dice. I don't know what those great men can do and what they can recommend. And I mean, but then I mean, it's I don't know if it's a knee-jerk reaction or whether he's got some really bold ideas and is prepared to make some very, very brave and radical decisions. Do you remember when Zimbabwe took a voluntary leave of absence from Test cricket for 6 years? I don't know whether anything like that's in. I hope not. I mean, we all hope that the West Indies do rediscover their mojo and ability to compete, but it all just seems a bit desperate. What measures do you think might be implemented?
I'm with you, Manners. I personally don't. I get it. First of all, actually, let me start again. I get why they've done it. I think this had this defeat, but more importantly, the 27 has led to a kind of region-wide reaction of that's it. That's it. No more. No more. We can't keep seeing this. And when those things happen, the head of an organization has to react. So it does feel like a knee-jerk reaction in so much as let's go for the greats. Everyone agrees, Lloyd, Viv, Lara, right? You can't, who can really say no to that? And that almost is a response to a certain niche of West Indian cricket society that will say, they're finally reaching out to legends again to try and find the answers. But I'm with you, man, as what answers can they give? There is nothing with respect to Clive Lloyd, Viv Richards and Brian Lara. There's nothing that they can suggest that hasn't already been spoken about, hasn't already been tried. So I'm very skeptical about it. I understand why it's been done. I understand why the statement's been released. Unless they come together and make a radical decision, which would have to involve the governments of the region to say, right, we are going to do, let me give an example. We are going to commit every single country in the Caribbean now to building individual high performance academies in our country. Not Cricket West Indies sorting it out. We're going to just do it ourselves. Unless it's something like that, I don't see what you could even do in the short term that can really fix anything. And I'll kind of end with this because I think it's quite interesting for the audience to know. 4 years ago, after we lost to Ireland, which was another low, 4 years ago after we lost to Ireland at home in, I think it was an ODI series, Kieran Pollard, who was the then captain, came out and said there is a batting epidemic in the Caribbean. And if we don't do something about it, we're going to see performances like this more regularly. That was 4 years ago. And he was right. He was right. And I remember it so well. And the reason I recall it is because at the time, people came out and said, it's a dereliction of duty from Pollard. He's throwing the players under the bus. And Pollard's explanation at the time was, I'm just talking about what I've been seeing in my career. The batting is significantly declining in the region, and we're going to find that we won't be able to compete on a regular basis. Fast forward 4 years, we're here now. Do you see what I mean? So when you say to me, okay, they're talking to Lara, to Viv, to Lloyd, it's like the horse has bolted already. Like what
Can't go back for them.
Sorry, Harmony. Sorry, go on.
They can't go back for them.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, you look at legends, and I mean, just fine. You look at legends, and the legends come in, but what can the legends do? I mean, Viv is working in franchise worlds. Brian's working in franchise worlds. This is the problem that the West Indies is having. So, I mean, it just seems a mess. It does, and it's a shame because that part of the world is a historic. It's unbelievable for cricket.
Indeed.
Maybe we could have a handicap system where the West Indies start each innings with 150.
Now that's a good idea. That's something I can work with.
Machel St Patrick Hewitt from the the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. It's always a pleasure, and you know what? Next time the West Indies win a Test match, we're going to get you on. Next time they win any match, we're going to get you on because I'm sick and tired of only getting you on the show to talk about the dark moments.
We'll see how long it takes.